Hello, everybody. Welcome to the PennyWise podcast from Lee Enterprises. I'm your host, Teri Barr. Got to ask you a question to get this started. Have you tried any of the food subscription services? You know, the kind that deliver right to your door. You may have to make the meal a little bit, but all the ingredients are included. We know many people have done this over the last 2 years. The choices have gone, way up. There's so many different kinds now, but the spending has also skyrocketed. And we're seeing this when it comes to all of our food choices. So, what do we do when it comes to the food budget? We have Kimberly Palmer with us today, personal finance expert with NerdWallet. She's going to walk us through this to try to get a grip on our food budget. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you, Teri.
Let's start with looking at grocery bills right now. Okay, so if you're getting the food subscription services, that's one thing. But in general, grocery bills are so much higher. What are we seeing right now?
There's really no doubt about it. Grocery prices are higher. They're up almost 10% for the year. And families are really feeling it. I mean, you go to the grocery store and you can't leave without spending so much more than you expected, so much more than we were spending a year ago.
Right, right. Oh my gosh. So, what do we do? Is there anything we can do to kind of control what's happening?
Well, the good news about food spending is that even though prices are up, there is a lot we can do to control our own personal food budgets. So unlike something like rent, where it's a fixed price and there's really nothing you can do month to month, with food prices, we can put some effort into planning ahead and choosing what we're buying and how we're buying it. And that can really help keep those prices down.
Okay, so planning ahead, that's one thing. How about planning your meals and trying to avoid waste? How does that work? What's your suggestion?
So the first step to controlling your food budget is really to plan out your meals for the week in advance, because there's nothing more expensive than not having any dinner planned. And then what can you do but order takeout or some other really expensive option? So
Right,
really
right.
taking some time on the weekend to plan out your week meal by meal, sometimes even doing some of the prep work ahead of time, shopping for the ingredients that you need. And then also planning to reuse some ingredients. So for example, say you're making a roast chicken one night, it could become tacos or pizza toppings the next night. So being a little bit creative about how you're planning those meals too can really help you stretch your budget.
Okay. And I know when it comes to we love our fresh fruits and vegetables, but sometimes those go to waste. What do we do about that?
It's so hard because every week a lot of families end up just throwing out so much food that they've purchased because it goes bad. And so we really want to try to minimize food waste. One of the best things you can do is just have some visibility into what you have in your fridge. One person I talked to likes to keep a list and having that somewhere really visible so you don't forget what you've bought, because you don't want to have something hidden in your fridge and then it ends up going bad before you can really use it.
Yeah, and that can happen easily. You forget what's in the back of the drawers and that kind of thing in your fridge. Okay, so what about using resources you already have? Can you find stuff? Can you grab stuff and use it?
Absolutely. And I think this is where it really pays off to be a little bit creative and confident in your own cooking. And you can turn to resources online to help you, to give you that boost of confidence. So for example, say you're cooking something and you want to substitute, say hot sauce or vinegar or vice versa, or you ran out of eggs and you can substitute applesauce instead. I know I've done that before for baking. Or if you really are stuck and you're not sure what to substitute, you can also use some of the great recipe sites online can help give you advice on what works as a substitute, what maybe doesn't work as a substitute. The key is really to use what you already have. So for example, if you can substitute something like a different kind of pasta or rice for whatever is called for in a recipe you're using, that can help you really save money because you don't have to buy extra things.
Oh, I love that. Okay. So be creative. I love
Be
it.
creative. Yes.
Oh my gosh. And what about, and I've heard this for years, just try to keep your pantry stocked with staples or whatever you might need. What do you suggest when it comes to that?
This is such a key strategy because if you have some essentials that you like to eat, and it's really important that it matches your own preferences in your pantry. So things like canned beans, maybe canned diced tomatoes, some pastas and rice, you can pull a meal together from that. You just add some spices, maybe you have some frozen onions. Everyone's different. So you want to think about what you would like to eat in a pinch. But if you have something, say in your freezer, you keep frozen French fries, frozen fish, whatever it is that you like to eat, it really helps you plan those weekday meals and avoid takeout, because if you order takeout, that can really blow your budget.
Oh, wow. Okay. Um, can you look for other help in the community? I mean, how does that work?
I think this is such an important thing to talk about, because a lot of people don't realize that there are food banks available in communities, and you don't necessarily have to belong to, say, the church that runs it or wherever it's located. And so you might want to call ahead to see if you might need to present your name, your number. Sometimes they keep records of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they know who's using the food banks, but they want to give their food away. They want to help the community. And so really leaning on that, if you are someone who needs it, is a great strategy, and it can help free up your budget to buy some other essentials at the grocery store. And so it's something that I heard over and over again, make sure you take advantage of that if you're someone that could benefit.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. Now, I want to ask you if this is okay. You have a family. So, do you have any favorite tips that you like to use personally?
My absolute favorite tip is to cook soup in bulk. I have one chicken tortilla soup from the Food Network that I always use. Basically, when you cook soup, it's something that's so easy to freeze. And so it ends up being not just one meal, but future meals too. And the best thing about that, I have 3 kids. And so anything that makes life easier is very helpful to me. And so having that, something frozen for next week, it can help, it can really help save time and also save money. I worked out, actually, it costs about $5 a person when I make that meal. And so to me, that just shows how, that's some value right there.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we're back to just kind of planning, that whole idea of planning ahead, thinking about it as you go to the grocery store or as you look in your pantry. We can do this, right?
Absolutely. And, lean on the expertise out there on the web. I love using search tools. I love using recipe websites. When I've really been stuck, I've just plugged into a web search the ingredients that I have on hand. And, half the time you get a great recipe you've never heard of before pop up. And so you can be a little bit creative.
Oh, that is terrific. Do you think there's a bottom line to all of this? We're not going to see prices probably go down in quite a while.
You're right. I think the bottom line is prices are high right now. There's nothing we can do about that, but we can cut back our own spending really without sacrificing taste or without sacrificing the meals that we like to eat, just by investing some more time into that planning process.
Great. Terrific tips for all the families, all the whoever you are. I think we can do this. I think this is a terrific episode, and I'm so grateful. Kimberly Palmer, personal finance expert with NerdWallet, talking about food today. Something important we probably don't talk about enough when it comes to your budget.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for listening. This is the PennyWise podcast from Lee Enterprises, and I'm your host, Teri Barr.